So I'm coming to you in jeans and a top and without shoes on and without makeup on, because that is, to me, probably one of the more Jane Birkin things to do, is to kind of be yourself, which is essentially the entire thesis of this video. I want to talk about Jane Birkin as a whole and why she's so influential and why I love her so much, but not in the ways that you think. Like, people often think of Jane Birkin, they think of her in like the 60s or 70s, when yes, she was very stylish and very fashionable. However, she had a sense of style that she didn't stray away from and that she brought into her I don't want to say adult, but like older years. She brought this essence that I deeply appreciate, and I actually want to talk about that versus the very cute see-through dresses. However, in my last video on style icons, I did Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, and I created a whole shopping list, and that actually got very positive feedback because it was a list that was, hey, you can also look like her. Here is the styles and here's what she went for. So I will also go into that, but I'll also talk about why Jane Birkin is so iconic and amazing without actually saying you need to dress exactly like her. If I had to describe Jane Birkin, I would say that she's kind of an influencer, the influencer's influencer, essentially. She is an English girl who moved to Paris, who fell in love after getting an acting gig and started a family there and became one of the most fashionable women ever known. I will admit, I go to Jane Birkin often to try to recreate some looks in my real life. I've watched a lot of her movies and I've tried to recreate some looks, as in like the mini skirt and the button-up shirt and the oversized glasses, or the all denim clad everything, which is something that I've worn many times. She was very naturally stylish, but she also really pushed boundaries. And I want to show you the list of things I would buy if I was looking to dress like Jane Birkin and what exactly I would go for, but why you don't exactly need to. Number one is flared denim. You could see many photos of her wearing flared denim. My favorite thing about the jeans that she wore is that they weren't blatantly designer anything. Wore very comfortable looking jeans. Number two is a white top. Many white tops if you would like, and I'm not just saying like a button-up, which she has worn several times, or a t-shirt, which she wore with said denim. I would say that she probably is the person who made that look iconic for the fashion girlies. And occasionally like kind of like a floral or like a light or a frilly one. The thing about her is that she actually had all of those worn in. They did not look brand new. Actually, APC created the Jane Birkin t-shirt, and it's just a boat neck, which looks a little worn in, which is very Jane Birkin. Next is a see-through dress, open knit dress, which is still pretty popular today. She is still influencing herself today, where she would actually wear it and then she would only wear a pair of black panties and just let the girl show. It was beautiful and it was iconic. A basket bag. So she one time said that she wouldn't care if she was kicked out of restaurants for carrying that bag. She loved that bag. My favorite thing about the bag is that it's not a bag, it's not a purse. She used it because she loved it. That purse spilling over on a plane is what inspired the Jane Birkin bag. The CEO of Hermes, and she was carrying a bunch of her stuff in a basket and it fell over, and they designed one together, which she didn't really use, which is actually really funny. She said that she only needs one, and she kind of lugged things around. She would throw it over her shoulder because it was originally meant to be a diaper bag for her, which is one of the most Jane Birkin things ever. A mini skirt or a mini dress. She had beautiful long legs and she would show them off, and there was a point when she was a little insecure about her figure when she was younger. She does have a beautiful body. Women are still going for that type of body, but she started feeling comfortable in her clothes. It's really started pushing the limits when she started dating Serge, it seems. And at the time, the 60s, the miniskirt was coming out and she had the perfect figure for it. So the miniskirt or mini dress, and I would make sure that it's not a skirt that's very tight. I would say in the early 2000s, we bought a lot of Forever 21 and Wet Seals skirts that were just bandages that we just slipped on and they would grab onto your body. Hers a little bit more flowy, very playful. None of her clothes were really body grabbing. Next is a trench coat. that she just styles so effortlessly. It is the quintessential French girl trench coat. Tall boots, very big in the 60s and 70s. Tall boots are very much a testament to the time that she was alive in. And she wore tall boots and trench coats as a complete outfit, pictured here. Stunning. I love that. I love that photo so much. I actually want to get it framed in my house, in my very white walls. Flowy trousers, and this is kind of going more into her older age, where she would wear men's inspired trousers or just men's trousers. She would sleep in them for 2 weeks and then she would wear them just to give them that kind of Jane Birkin look. And the last is sneakers, specifically Converse. Girl loved Converse, and you could actually see a lot of photos of her wearing Converse, including at the Cannes Festival in, I think, 2021, where she is wearing a button-up jeans and chucks, and it is one of my favorite photos of her. For men's clothing, when she got new clothes, she told British Vogue that she would actually sleep in them for 2 weeks before she would actually wear them out. And that's why I love her. It is, and I don't mean to say this in an insulting way, Jane Birkin was kind of weird. And I'm not saying like weird, like, oh, she's odd and she's a freak. I was strange into the way that she pushed those boundaries. She was very much walking that line of being both masculine and feminine, especially during a time where everything was about women being deeply effeminate. It was the 1950s are over, and everything was about the very flowy skirt and the very Betty Draper-esque cinched-in waist, and she said no and then went for a more masculine look. But because she kind of kept this more feminine allure to her in the aspect that she would wear, she had a signature eye look. She kept a basket as a bag. She definitely styled things to accentuate her very slim body. I would say that she was very girly without actually dressing girly. I think that she is one of the best feminine fashion icons, and she was just effortless. She was an icon of the sexual revolution. She would wear sheer dresses with her boobs out. She wore a lot of miniskirts with a ton of legs. She did not wear bras often. She didn't fit this plastic surgery kind of look, where I feel like in the 50s we were still kind of on that Marilyn Monroe train where everything looked perfect, where her makeup took several hours. And I would say that Jane Birkin is really good at challenging that. And I would actually say that's one thing that about French style that I really like, is that the most beautiful version of yourself is to look like you versus looking like a cut copy from something else. You want to play up those kind of natural features. I am not French, nor have I been to France. However, I follow enough influencers online and have read about this subject enough to know that they do not like the plastic. They do not like the over-the-top looking perfect. And that's what's perfect about Jane Birkin, is that she did not always look perfect. She was barefoot often. She wore men's clothing. She did not have perfectly styled hair. It was definitely kind of undone and unbrushed, and there was a fringe, and it was perfect for her face. She looked stunning. She didn't try to act like she had bigger boobs. As someone who is relatively flat-chested, as Jane Birkin is seen as a very sexual icon, that actually means a ton to me. As she got older, she started wearing more men's clothing. You would see a lot of photos of her wearing tennis shoes, wide-leg trousers, men's button-ups, and she gave up her signature eye look of very thick mascara and the cut crease for a very bare face. She cut off all of her hair and went from a tousled, a very perfectly undone, unkept hair. She traded that for a very androgynous haircut. The thing that I want to stress about Jane Birkin is that Jane Birkin looked like Jane Birkin at every age. You could tell that it was her. She was not particularly Instagrammable at all points. She definitely broke a lot of rules. She did whatever she wanted, and she looks her age, which is not an insult, actually. She was an example of the fact that women are beautiful at every stage of their life. Jane Birkin is beautiful currently, and I know that she's alive and there's a really good chance that she will not watch this, but my favorite thing about her is that she just looked like herself. She's the epitome of natural beauty, especially in an age that we kind of prioritize trying to look young at every age. She did a film with her daughter and she talks about the aging process and how she felt, but realistically, she looked so beautiful wearing her very signature boyish Jane Birkin look. The best thing about Jane Birkin is that she knew what made her feel good. She looked beautiful at every point, at pushing the status quo. And she was an artistic and kind of beautiful soul. And that is the most hippie thing I'm gonna say on here. But she was a beautiful soul who styled herself in a way that made her feel comfortable. And that's the best thing about Jane Birkin, is that she always looked like Jane Birkin and she didn't sway away from being herself. She is the epitome of evolving with age and improving with age. It was always perfectly executed because she stayed true to herself. And I think that's one of the more important fashion lessons, is that I would never wear something that another person would wear. I do not dress exactly like another person because I'm not that person. There are parts of my fashion that people find very strange. My boyfriend tells me all of the time that he loves my style, and I tend to wear things that make me look very short as a short woman, but I kind of embrace my height. I love a giant oversized men's coat, and I would say that her style is similar, but there are things out of hers that I would never wear. And as I get older and as my style icons change or my influences change, I would say that they get stronger and I feel a little bit more like myself. And I find that Jane Birkin is beautiful and is a fantastic fashion role model from the soul aspect, that she looks like herself and that she is evolving in the best way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.